stunting. I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can most anything. All it takes is
just one quick thing I want to say very quickly. I love watches. I love watches like you have absolutely. As a matter of fact, I don't love jewelry that much, but I love watches. I love watches like you have no ideas. But I don't really always wear my watch, only for one reason. Because I don't like to wear anything that can draw attention to me. That can cause people to simply look at me. That can cause people to actually, I don't like to do that. I was simply say, glasses for me it's okay. A suit, a jacket, for me it's okay. As a matter of fact, only a few of them are not many as I used to in the past. Maybe 5 or 6. For me, that's more than enough. 5 enough jacket, that's more than enough for me. But I don't really wear my watches anymore. And I was just thinking about it the other day, and I realized, oh my goodness, I don't really wear watches only for one simple reason. Because a few years ago, about 32 years ago, I was in Africa. As I was in Africa, something crazy really happened. Around September 1991 in Africa, more specific in the Congo, back in the day known as Zaire, there was the genesis of a coup. Because a bunch of soldiers got together and simply says, we are not very happy when it comes to the direction of this country. We don't like the way that we're being treated because we're not being paid, number one, fairly. So basically, our compensation is not really fair. And number two, the frequency of our pay is such that we can't really look after our families. So therefore, we're going to take it to the streets and basically challenge the local government. So you can imagine what's going to happen when people who have access to guns, who are trained to be soldiers, actually go on the street with guns, wanting to actually topple the government. So it was chaos, it was mayhem within the country, and more specifically within the capital where I was staying at the time, which is Kinshasa. That was 1991. But at one particular day when things were happening, of course, because I was young, I said to myself with my brothers, let's just go around and see what is happening, because these soldiers are basically looting. They are going all over the place, basically attacking our businesses because they want to get access to as much cash as possible. So as they do that, of course, the population is just following them as basically as the mob, looking for a way also to get their hands on anything they can get their hands to, because these soldiers are going all over the place, basically ransacking all these businesses. So after they're gone, the population are just going after them to grab whatever they could grab, because of course it was basically, yes, it was a buffet. That was during the day. But sometime during the day, of course, things are just going completely different, because of course the soldiers believed that they got all that they could get, and now it was basically a free-for-all as far as the rest of the people were concerned, and the soldier who basically didn't get to be part of the action in the morning, and then they were still basically roaming the streets. So at one point I was just going back and forth to different places. I find myself in my neighborhood, close to my grandmother's house, and I was leaving her house. I was going back to my father's house. So as I was leaving, I was going back to my father's house. I come face to face with a group of 3 soldiers. Of course, they were fully armed. They carrying the guns and the pistol and also some rifles. They said to me, "Hey, you young man, please come here." I said, "Who? Me?" I said, "No, I'm not coming there." They said, "You, please, young man, come here." As a matter of fact, we're not asking you, we're telling you, please come here. I look at myself. And that's where my version for jewelry come from. I look at myself because at the time I was wearing this amazing bracelet and a necklace from this. I won't give the name because of course I'm not paid to do that. So I was wearing this fancy bracelet and fancy necklace from this one particular French company. So it looked very nice. And I know they must have been drawn to us. I know exactly what they want. They don't want me to actually come to talk to them, but they want me to come close to them so they can actually basically surrender and give all this thing, because they want to also take something home. So they believe that because they've run out of things to actually loot, they're going to go now after the population. So they're asking me to go to them so they could basically take advantage of me. So I said, no, I'm not going there. So they started screaming, "You, we ask you to come in." I said, "No." So basically, I did something completely crazy. I was young, so only in hindsight, I see how stupid what I did was. Because I turned around. So I turned my back on them. So as I did that, of course, they became extremely furious. They said, "We are asking you to come in and you have the audacity to turn your back on us. You, young men, come in." So now, you could almost hear that the whole neighborhood went silent. Because they're saying, "Who is this crazy young man out there who's challenging the soldiers? What's going to happen to him?" And amongst the people listening in was my grandmother. And my grandmother was completely torn. She says, "This is crazy. What is happening to this young man out there?" And I started walking, and eventually I managed to walk to make it to the door of a compound and to open the door and to come in. And when she realized that the young man they were talking to, they've been talking to, it was her grandson, she almost broke. She says, "Why on earth would you actually challenge these people?" And she was so traumatized. The look on her face, I never forgot it. So as I got to the house, the first thing I did is I removed the bracelet, and the next I gave it to her and simply say, "Yes, just take it, just keep it for me. I don't want to see them anymore. Because if they come back in, I don't want them to actually come after this." So I gave it to her, and it's only later I realized that yes, this must have been even more traumatic because she lost her husband, my grandfather, to a similar situation. Her husband was actually basically taken by a bunch of soldiers because he was progressive. He was doing well, phenomenally well within the community, and they took him to the bush and he was actually shot to death. And that's something that stays in the history. So when you go to the book of history, my grandfather was simply, when it comes to his biography, it simply says assassinated. And so but I did not realize at the time, because what I was doing was basically giving her a reenactment of something that happened many, many years ago. So she was beyond devastated. And from that point, she said, "Dimitri, for as long as you live, Dimitri, no more jewelry. So no more bracelet, no more necklace, nothing for you. So no bling on you. Even when you're wearing watches, keep it for a minimum. And as a matter of fact, don't try to wear watches too much, because these watches can land you in hard places, because someone may become jealous or may want to actually get access to your watch. And next thing you know, you're ambushed, and yeah, it's not gonna go well."